Hello, gorgeous, and welcome back to another episode with me. Today is gonna be plant storytelling time. And actually, I'm not gonna tell you which plant I'm gonna talk about. I am gonna play a guessing game with you. So, this is a plant that doesn't grow in Europe. That's first of all. It's also a plant that I feel deeply connected by. And it is a plant that I nearly drink every day. Okay, so I helped you a little bit there. It is a plant that connects us to our root and helps us to ground as well as also openings our heart. Most people only know the opening of the heart effect. Now it's gonna get a little bit easier. The plant or the way we drink it is brown, and it's a plant that is like the most consumed plant in Switzerland, while most of the people actually have no idea what it is. So, drum roll, it is cacao, if you haven't guessed that too until now. Anyway, the reason why I want to talk about cacao is because my journey with her is, I think, quite special. As in, I mean, every journey we have and every story is quite special. But still, and I think that the words that need to be spoken through me from the plant through me, are really important. I think my first encounter with a plant was in something what at back then she called a cacao ceremony. I right now would say that was so far from a cacao ceremony. And it was the first time for me realizing, wait a second, I've been eating chocolate all my life. Obviously, I'm Swiss. I'm addicted, or I used to be addicted to chocolate. And I was like, wait, this is a bit different. We're like drinking it together. We're kind of doing a ceremony. I will tell you a little bit of what a ceremony is just in a second, so bear with me. Um, so it was very interesting, but I wasn't very much like touched. I was just like, okay, that's just something. And I heard the whole world is like talking about cacao ceremonies, and I was like, oh, don't really get it, but okay. My journey continued because I started going to a lot of ecstatic dances and some kind of like meditation circles or whatever else. And more cacao obviously was served. I went to a gorgeous like meditation slash connecting to the heart slash singing ceremony in Bali. That was actually, I would say, one of the first proper, amazing, good cacao ceremonies that was in the pyramids. I'm not sure if they call them the pyramids or if I just think they're called the pyramids. At least I was in a pyramid. So anyway, I just saw it as something we sometimes have in spaces. I didn't really understand why what people would choose and why people would work with that, but it was just like, and it was okay. I liked the taste, so why not? Fast forward a couple of years, and suddenly I started realizing that I got more and more annoyed in cacao ceremonies because something just didn't feel aligned. I was like, why am I feeling so ragey and angry where everyone else is like so in peace and I'm so in love? And anyway, I have to say, I'm often actually this person, and someone told me, I think in Mexico there is a name for these people, and we are here to disrupt and like see where is things are not in alignment. Where are things that are not being spoken about, especially if group leaders are not holding the container right, if they're feeling insecure, if they actually have no idea what they're doing, like who has been there, like nearly all of us probably. No, I think that will be, I will cover that in another episode of like, yeah, the maybe the weird shit storytelling about ceremonies I've been to. Anyway, so I started feeling this rage. And in the beginning, I was holding it back because it's like, who should be feeling this ragey? This is not how we're supposed to feel, and everyone else is peaceful, so I'm the awkward one. And then suddenly in the meditation, I started realizing, wait a second, I am channeling the age and the anger of cacao. Yes, welcome to my life, where I don't just feel all of my multitude of emotions to the max, I also feel the emotions of other people around me. But that is also not enough because I can also feel the emotions of plant spirits. Like, how insane is that? I think not so insane in my world anymore, but it definitely is the case. So I started feeling her rage, and I started realizing how she is not being treated the way any sentient being should be treated. We should always have respect, and we should be grateful to these plants. And I just see that a lot of people started doing cacao ceremonies and drinking cacao just because it was fancy and popular. And I'm going once to a cacao ceremony, and then afterwards, I obviously am also doing cacao ceremonies because I now get it. I saw what she does, so I copy it. That's another thing. We're not copying anyway. So she spoke and she was like, I want you to start working with me and doing ceremonies. And I was like, what? I am like, always don't want to do what everyone else is doing. I always want to be different. You're telling me I should start working with you and start doing cacao ceremony. That was years ago. Still to this day, I actually haven't really done solemnly cacao ceremonies. I'm still like not sure I should do it, even though she's like sitting in front of me here and like, yes, yes, yes. Yes. So what I felt was her rage that because what in later on I've learned is her big desire is that we as humanity learn to come back to her, learn to come back to her, which means she's here to support us to find the connection to nature because we often have lost the connection to nature. We have lost our innate like roots, and she's here is like to remind us to, and you can hear the change in my voice, yeah, because now she's speaking in this soft motherly voice through me, that she's here, like nature is here, the womb of the earth is here for us to welcome us back whenever we choose to. And there is such a big desire that we as humanity and every single one of us comes back to the womb of the earth and feels held and feels this calmness, and it's just like everything is well, little child, everything is good, there's nothing innately wrong with you, you're gorgeous and beautiful the way you are. This is her big desire. So before we open our hearts to connect with everyone around us, we're already bloody pros in doing that because it's part of escapism is to always find the solutions and the connections in the external world. I think I need to speak big timers on that because I do see the beauty in contact improvisations, and I do see the beauty in all of this connection and this like temple nights and whatever else. But I actually am like, what about temple nights where we don't interact with others, but we actually learn to find pleasure and sensuality within us? What about that contact? It needs to be something else. What about dance events where we solemnly learn to dance with ourselves? I feel like that's where the biggest teachings and learnings could be. So basically, it's we can do that with a group of people, obviously, because everything we do in a group with a group of people gets a bit more potent and powerful. But the focus should be with ourselves and our own journey and our own experience first and foremost. So there's this thing of like, what is hindering you from dropping into this groundedness, into this connection to nature? And it's often our fear. First of all, we're scared of silence, we're scared of stillness, we're scared of not doing anything because it feels better to be in the busyness and move ahead in life instead of being in quietness and stillness and silence, because in stillness and silence we actually get to listen to our inner world, to the worlds that are running like maniacs and roller coaster mind. And I also see this, isn't that the clapping monkey also a picture, an embodiment of the mind? Oh my goodness. But yes, kind of it is. So it's about that. Like, can you actually be in stillness with yourself? Like, how long would you feel comfortable? When would you go mad? And I'm here saying, like, I'm also not always the best pro in that. I also sometimes struggle. But I feel like I'm going a bit on a tangent there. So let's bring it back, right back to cacao. So why do I think it's such a gorgeous plant to work with? And if I say working with, it doesn't mean it's just another plant that is going to be a quick fix and it's just going to be addicted and I'm just going to be following a fancy trends and be an influencer or follow the influencers. It's more about how can you connect with this gorgeous, amazing plant in a conscious, healthy, integrated way where you're learning wisdom from it by being and showing gratitude while being in devotion to this plant instead of like starting to use it or abuse it, because that's once more where we're like just gonna step into what everyone else is doing around us, what we've been doing all our lives with all the plants. Don't get me started with ayahuasca and everything else, or tobacco. I mean, yeah. So we're very prone as humanity, as a society, to just go into the addiction pattern. And I'm like trying to tell you here, work with this plant in a like soft and gorgeous and yeah, wait. So this is a little bit about my connection with plants. I obviously always have some cacao blocks with me, so feel free to ask me any questions you have. Obviously, this is not meant here to give you all the information because I think it's an inspiration. I think any time in life we have to be inspired by our surroundings. I shouldn't be here teaching you or saying I know it all. This is all the information you need to. I don't believe those people because we're always experts in certain aspects about something. So I'm going to share you a different aspect here and present you something, a different way of how to work with plants. It doesn't mean that this is the absolute truth. And I'm not standing here and saying I know the absolute truth about anything. I actually don't. What about if I stand here and say I actually know nothing? A lot of the wisdom I get is I receive in the moment. Would you, are you ready yet to see that this is actually more powerful than someone saying, I know it all and I have all the scientific facts that you could just go and Google and read? What about this? Can you go and Google and read this? No, anyway, don't know why I talk about Google so much. Anyway, I always have blogs with me, so you can come and ask if you are somewhere in Europe or anywhere else I'll travel to. Obviously, reach out to me and I can send you some because I'm always going and traveling through the world and obviously going to connect with those people that are really working in an integrity way with the plant, like super gorgeous, soft, and amazing. They're also paying their workers well. They are really thinking about every single step. And obviously, additionally, this is the best case tasting cacao I've ever had. And that's just to say, because if all of the steps before it are aligned, if the land is healthy, the water is healthy, the plants are healthy, they're getting treated like royal queens they are, obviously the end product will also taste well. I mean, just saying, if you drink cacao out there that you don't like because it tastes really horrible, most likely something in the whole process of the plant has not gone that well. I'll just come to one of my ceremonies, and apparently I most likely have to offer cacao ceremonies in the future, but I'm also thinking of doing some cacao ceremonies online because I think we all need to get this medicine and not just where I am. So anyway, have a gorgeous day. Please like, subscribe, comment your favorite stories about cacao. Tell me how much you love it or you don't. That's also fine. We're all here and individual people, and not everyone needs to do the same thing. And I wish you a peaceful, restful rest of the day. Peace out.